going to be talking about Profitec. Yeah.
Wow.
Profitec.
I literally just opened their website and I already saw that there is one coffee machine that is the one you want. You should buy that. Done.
Job
Bye,
done.
guys.
No, I'm still thinking
brilliant.
about the Cylon from last week. Haven't you watched Battlestar Galactica yet?
No.
All right, listen. Hey, by the way, we got some comments on YouTube and me personally.
Good.
So read this out. Yeah. So we had. I'll go and open it up.
Okay, let me just mute you so I can ignore it.
No, you don't want. Some of them were exactly about my comments on Battlestar Galactica. In a very complimentary way, actually. Before you say anything, I'm not the only Battlestar Galactica fan out there. So the CREM One. It's actually, I'm still really tempted about that CREM One.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm going to find anything better than that.
It's got a lot going for it. The only thing is the name.
Yeah.
The more I think about it, the more I think of it in Italian, and I think of cremone.
Wow, what does that mean?
Like, I don't know, like big cream or something. But it's
everything in some language is like an insult or whatever, isn't it?
Yeah, but they should have done their homework better.
So Jonathan Jones left a comment on
name and surname, eh?
Well, actually, sorry?
Name and surname.
Name and surname. Well, he's actually a friend of mine. He left some comments on the YouTube, and he also sent me personal. I'm not going to read the comments on the YouTube because, although he does go on to say, wow, coffee and Battlestar Galactica reference, amazing, truly, which is very nice of him. But then he sent me, just to ruin that, he sent me a personal message saying, are you kidding me? Battlestar Galactica reference shot right to the top of my podcast recommendations to friends now. I thought that's really good. So I gave him like a little fist bump on WhatsApp. Mm-hmm. And then he said something about the reason he didn't get such a good degree in school, university, was because he was watching Battlestar Galactica. But then he goes on, he says, good episode, getting better. I actually actively enjoyed listening rather than listening out of friendly obligation. So
that's good. That's good.
So thanks, Jonathan. I think for that. Was I supposed to mention his last name? Oops. Sorry, Jonathan Jones. What can I say? It's an accident. It slipped out. I'm sure we'll remember to edit that. And then we had a comment from a gentleman. Here it is what I'd say if I found it. We're going to be talking about a lot of people get Profitecs. I mean, they are super popular. The question I've got in my mind is, they're not much different from the ECMs. Is there a difference between these and the ECMs? Really, a lot?
Probably if you open them, there might be.
I mean, they're from the same company. And now I've got to wonder, why are they making, two machines that look very similar with very similar functionality and then sending them out under two different names? Oh, here we go. It's Mandelson. Mandelson 32 says, it was on the episode talking about PIDs. Enjoying the content, recently purchased an ECM Technica 5 PID. This was initially after purchasing a Rocket Mozzafiato. Did I say that right? I felt good saying that. Let me get it right.
Yeah,
Mozzafiato.
Okay. That's good.
But it had an issue with the weld on the frame. And this is why I wanted to bring this up, because it's pertinent to what we were talking about last week. It had an issue with the weld on the frame. So I swapped it out for the ECM. Enjoying it so far, but do find the information on the PID settings a little frustrating. Then again, variable offset on dual boilers would almost be as frustrating at a price premium. Highly recommend the Technica or the PP, which I think is the Profitec P600, but with flow control. Not sure you need the line pressure. Maybe save some dollar on the rotary pump and go with the PP600 with flow control. What sold me on these machines was the PID with the visible shot timer. Nice, something to have, something else to consider. I mean, basically, Mandelson, €32, spot on the money, pal, because that is exactly what's going through my head. and we talked about last week the CREM having a polycarb frame for exactly that reason, that they were saying that a lot of when you're putting the metal together, one of the reasons is it gets bent, and especially when it's shipped, it can get damaged in shipping. These things are big and heavy. So that was one thing, and I definitely do want to have flow control. Definitely want to have flow control.
It's either
So
you can always choose between flow control or pressure control.
yeah, that's true. You can have one or the other because you
Yeah.
can. Yeah, exactly.
One makes
And
the other redundant.
yeah, I did not realize though that the P600 had an option for flow control, and so
Well,
that I was going to look that up,
I
but I
mean, at
forgot.
the end of the day, one thing is all of the E61
Yeah,
group heads, they all have the option for flow control because you can actually buy
it's just a mushroom
externally.
attachment, basically, isn't it?
It's a mushroom attachment that you can buy externally for an E61 group head, and you can there's your flow control.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it.
Yeah.
The problem is in that case, it's not going to store your flow profile. You will do it manually.
Oh, that's true, and that's one of the things that I really like about the CREM, the
Mhm.
little twiddly knob. Is the twiddly knob, you can push it like it's like a BMW, twiddly knob. You push it and you can make settings and save it down. And once you've got your favorite thing set up, you can just hit that button and recreate it. I really like that idea. I
Mhm.
do, I have to say. But you know what actually really turned me off more than anything on the creme, and it's your fault once again, is you mentioned that it was really shiny and that it will scuff up.
Like all of these
And
shiny things, they will eventually. You can always do things to it. You can wrap them.
oh, tell me about your wrapping.
So I had this idea of
Yeah.
um, wrapping things
We're talking about
and
vinyl wrap, right?
vinyl wrapper. So you can actually cut patterns into vinyl
Hmm.
and just peel off the ones you don't want to stick, and then send cut to measure vinyl, and people can stick it into their coffee machines, of course.
Yeah. I mean, this could be actually pretty cool. You could get some really funky designs, right?
Yes.
And it would also protect the shiny chromeness.
Or make you have to have it, because if you cut the pattern, you will have holes that will show the shiny bit underneath.
Hmm.
So it's like when you put stickers on a car, then you have to have the stickers on, because as soon as they come off, you have difference in color in the paint.
Oh, you could discolor where it's not stuck on.
Mhm.
Why is life so complicated? Okay. All
It
right.
isn't.
Well, okay, but look, my Gaggia, you were talking about doing it for my Gaggia. My Gaggia
Yes,
Classic Pro is a bit grungy, and
that's the whole point.
so I could stick it over the top, and then no one would know what a dirty pig and animal I am.
Exactly. You can stick it wherever you like it.
Yeah. It's gonna have to go on everything. I'll have to go over the shower screen as well. Um, will that affect flow profiling on my Gaggia?
Maybe. Not sure about that, but probably. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say maybe it will.
I couldn't confirm or deny that would, Nick. So we're looking at the Profitec lines. I mean,
So
really.
today we are talking
Mhm.
about, and here doing some Italian speaking here, hand waving.
Yeah.
So today we're talking about Profitec, and I've already seen one coffee machine that trumps everything already and has
No
it
way.
all. Yes,
Tell me which one.
it's the 300.
Oh, I was just about to say how bad the 300 looked, but
Why?
well, but the thing is,
It's a Gadget TT. It looks
it
it looks
actually is. I know.
it looks terrible, but
It looks terrible,
it
but
works.
actually, it's got a number of things going for it, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think it works. I mean,
It doesn't have
it
flow
does look
control
ugly.
though.
What?
That doesn't have flow control though.
No, I don't think so. But I mean, first of all, it's a shiny box. and that we have to get that over that bit. All of the Profitecs and all of the coffee machines we are going to talk about from now until probably the end of this podcast YouTube cast series are going to be shiny boxes, because I think that there is only one frame that is made and everyone uses the same.
Yeah, they do. There's this one guy. There's one guy working out of a small workshop like somewhere in Germany, and he's he's just producing the frames for everybody.
Yes. So these, to me, it is ugly, but it's different. At least it looks different.
Look, let me just tell you the problems I got. So people who don't know, so this is a machine. Actually, it's kind of interesting. I just think it's been a little bit, I say badly executed. It's just been, I don't know, it hasn't had the love. So basically, this is a machine. If you imagine in the kind of the size or shape of a Rancilio Silvia or a Gaggia Classic Pro, it's the same thing, and it's got the
not the Gaggia Classic Pro. It looks a little more like a Gaggia Cubica.
Okay, all right, but it's got that. It's a cube, right?
Blocky,
it's a cube, and it doesn't have an E61 group head. It's got a saturated kind of brew head, like
which is
the
better.
Rancilio, which is better because it's directly tied to the boiler. We've got a PID on there, so you know you're going to get thermal stability.
Yes,
but
it's
then
a dual boiler.
It's what?
It's a dual boiler.
It is a dual boiler, which is kind of interesting. And I believe you can switch one of the other boilers off and it'll heat up in 5 minutes. And that was really appealing. I was like, oh, this is really good. And then you look a little bit closer and you start to realize just how cheap and plasticky those knobs look. And then you notice
can always
the feet.
change the knob and put the fancy wooden ones.
What's the point? This is not actually. Here's the other thing though, right? Right, Max?
No,
right?
What? Maybe no. I don't know.
Check out. Do you know how much this costs?
I have no idea. No.
Yeah, that's exactly why you're so fan. This is why you're positive about it. This is
how much is it?
£100 less than the 500.
What?
It's like £1,200, whereas the 500 is like £1,300.
Oh, come on, guys.
I know. It's like they don't want to sell it. It's like it's the dummy one. It's the joke one they put out there so that you feel better about buying the 500. I know. So
but it's a dual boiler.
It's a dual boiler, but I don't want to. I don't want.
It's more accurate. Temperature wise, it's more accurate.
It's true. It's all true.
So
but there's no pressure profiling. It looks ugly, and it's only £100 less than moving up to something that's got a lot more functionality.
True.
So I started to look at it, and I was quite intrigued. They could have done that so much better. They could have just made it a little bit less ugly, put better knobs on it. They could have put the PID is very basic on there, I think. They just could have put a little bit more love into it. It looks like someone, this is the version 1, and they said, right, let's make this as a prototype, and then they gave up interest and said, oh, you know what, let's just not continue, let's just sell it like it is. That's that. To me, this looks like a off the drawing board, a version 1 that never got refined.
I see.
Yeah. So
shame though, because that is that to me has a lot of potential.
Had a lot of potential, right? But I think we're a small audience, Max. That's the thing. Where most people are into their latte art and they're steaming the milk and all the rest of it, and they want to have what?
That works. Dual boiler.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, it is. Yeah, but it's I don't know. It just slightly misses the mark. I look at it. Here's the thing: if I'm going to spend all that money, I prefer to spend more money and have something that every time I touch it, every time I interact with it, every time I twiddle the knob and do anything, I want to feel the love. I want to feel the excellence. I want to feel all of the effort and the work and the engineering that went into it. I don't want to feel like they cut corners.
And if you actually, so for the listeners, if you like this machine, you get very similar performances with a Gaggia TD, which is a single group saturated group head with electronic heating of the group head with a heat exchanger.
But that, as much as I teased, and I had to change the title of the show on the last Spaziale that we did,
Mhm.
I had a title that said something like, "Can something this ugly be this good?" or something like that. I chickened out before I posted it and changed it to
Ah.
something a bit tamer. No, but I don't want to be cruel. I don't want to be cruel on these things. I mean, we want to be honest, but there's
Mhm.
no need to be cruel because there are also. And then here's the crazy thing. Crazy thing is, the more I look at it, the more actually that design's growing on me, and I realized I was probably wrong about the design. But that is let me look it up. That is not that much more expensive, and I would much prefer to get a La
Absolutely.
Spaziale. That's 1,800 quid. So you're going to spend another £600. But for that La Spaziale, you've got another dual boiler,
Mhm.
but you've
Have
got
a lot
so
more
much more
going on.
functionality. You can plumb it in.
Mhm.
It's got volumetric functions.
That's a big one.
It's a huge one. It's a huge one. And it's got the saturated group head.
Mhm.
Um,
Both have the saturated group head.
yeah, so I'm saying, yeah, so they both got the saturated group head. But the La Spaziale is so much more versatile.
Yes.
And the design, you might not like it to begin with, like me. You just thought, what were they thinking? But the more you look at it, the more you kind of think it's funky. It's like it's one of those. Did you ever watch that movie? Oh, what was the movie with the geek? Oh God, I'm gonna make this. It was a few years ago. It was a huge like success. And there was this geeky guy, and he was in high school, and he ended up in the end of the movie, he does a
Mhm.
dance, and he's an amazing dancer. He's got curly red hair and glasses, and it became somebody write it and tell me, put me out of my misery. I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, it's a bit like that. That guy is so nerdy,
Mhm.
but actually he was cool. He was so nerdy, he was cool. And this last Spaziale is a little bit like that. Is it's its own unique design. You can laugh to begin with, but later on you kind of think, actually, it's proud of what it is. It's pretty kind of cool.
Yeah, I do like it a lot. My only gripe with it is just the wrong size portafilter.
I know. Let me ask you about that. So, it's a 53 mil portafilter. I don't know how
Mhm.
deep it is. How much coffee can you get into a 53 mil portafilter?
I don't think there is much difference between 53 and 58 because you can make it deeper and you're done. So you can still do a triple shot in a 53. It's just going to be a longer cylinder. The
Yeah.
problem in that case is the flow rate, so the speed at which the water flows through the pack.
Yeah.
A wide pack, the same amount of water flows slowly,
Hmm.
so you have a longer interaction with between the water and the pack. A narrower portafilter, the same flow rate, you have a much faster flow rate through it
Right.
because I think it's Venturi. It's a Venturi effect.
Uh-huh.
Uh, but
I know they
um,
were talking on Barista Hustle.
yes,
I think it was on Barista Hustle, and apologies
it's
if I've done them a
possible. So
disservice, but
it has to do with the speed at which the water goes through the coffee pack,
yeah.
which means that you're going to have, in theory, you have more water per coffee grain flowing through if you flow at the same speed. Obviously,
Hmm.
you can change these things, and a narrower portafilter would give you a higher back pressure
Hmm.
at the same speed.
Well, what they were saying, they being these mystery people who might be Barista Hustle, what they were saying was that when you have a wider portafilter, a wider basket,
Mhm.
that you can get better flavors, but it's at the expense potentially of puck stability. So a deeper, thicker, whatever, a deeper, narrower puck is more stable, less likely to
Mhm.
channel
Mhm.
than a wider puck. So that was kind of there's probably a white paper that some nerdy students have written on puck dynamics in relation to dimensions. But there is some kind of logic to having a different sized puck. Anyway, so look, this is actually a serious option for me. The La Spaziale still comes creeping back into my mind.
You will
It's
end
kind
up
of
having one.
it's kind of a. Do you know what? There was one on Facebook Marketplace, cheap. It was like 250 quid or something. Yeah, it was like right after we spoke, and I almost messaged you about it. And it was
Why didn't you?
because it looked in really terrible condition.
I don't care.
And also
I
the
can
guy
fix
looked
it.
pretty dodgy. I don't know. It's a dodgy guy. He hadn't sold anything before. He's from Manchester or something. It was 250 quid. It looked stolen, to honestly. I'm honest about it. It
I will
looked
still
very
take it.
dodgy. Um, yeah. And it was very cheap. It was very cheap. But I might keep an eye out for a genuine secondhand one. That's a
Yeah,
definite possibility.
I mean,
Um,
you get a lot of machine for not a lot of money.
well, here's the funny thing about it. So the Cylon, the Battlestar Galactica CREM One, has all these features, but I have seen how my Gadget Classic Pro has got gritty over the years, over 2 years, and it's stained and gritty, and the stainless steel finish can't come up in a polish. And this thing is like a
You
mirror
can
finished
always
chrome.
polish. You can always polish these things.
Well, can you polish the CREM One because
I'm
it's like
pretty
a
sure you
mirror
can. It's a
finish?
pain in the ass, but you can.
A pain in the ass, I don't mind, as long as it's possible. So that's
Yeah.
something that whereas the La Spaziale is basically plastic. So you kind of, you know, you're not going to ruin it in the same way.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, what I don't understand is all of these panels that you see outside that are shiny, chrome, and everything. Yes, they look good, whatever. I mean, they don't appeal to me, but they are panels, so you can make them in literally any material. Why do you want to go for a chrome finish? Why don't you go for something interesting? I don't know. Um, you can do PVC. You can do PVC, probably not because it wouldn't be stable at at high temperatures. But you can use a high temperature proof plastic, for example, like the Victoria Duino Eagle One Prima. I mean, that looks amazing.
It should do for £5,000, Max.
Exactly, but it it's not that piece of plastic outside that makes the price. It's the feature that it has.
Hmm. Okay.
You could do these things.
Yeah, I could do these things. I'm actually really tempted about it. There's a company called God, what's it? Something Electric Goat, Clumsy Goat. Clumsy Goat. I might contact them because they sell these machines. I might beg them. I was thinking of going back to Bella Barista because I wrote them an email saying, "Can I have a? I might buy one, but I want to test one. Can I have one?" And they didn't answer me. Um, so I either have to go back
Only
to
one.
them and beg them and throw my dignity out the window, which of course I'm willing to do, or I can try to drag the remains of my dignity together and go to Clumsy Goat, who haven't heard from me yet, and then try the same pitch on them
Mhm.
to see if they'll give me a machine for a review. And it might be that I just review it and then I think to myself, I love it, I'm keeping it. I can
Anyway,
do
so
away
the
with it.
300 is out of question. Too bad.
300, no, no.
It's got a PID though.
Yeah, you know what? My Gadget's got a PID. It's got to give me something new for all this money.
Woohoo! Wow,
Yeah.
someone is getting wiser about it.
Yeah. Well, do you know, I tell you, the flow control is actually pretty important to me because I have been listening to other people. Apparently, other people do podcasts on coffee and things, and you shouldn't
Really?
listen to them. Yeah, you shouldn't listen to any of
No.
them because that will just reduce the amount of time you're listening to us. But I was listening to a guy who had for the last year
Mhm.
moved up to flow control, and he said I wouldn't go back. Now that could be, that thing I was actually listening on our reading. God, I
Doing
get that right.
something too.
Still digesting that foot long. So I was reading on the lots of Facebook groups, different people who bought different machines,
Mhm.
and all of them, if they bought expensive machines, all of them recommend and love their machines that they bought. And
Obviously,
that should
you
not be a
invested into
surprise.
it.
Because exactly, because when you just drop $3,000 or $5,000 or something on a machine, very few people want to like pipe up and say, "I'm really disappointed. I wish I hadn't bought it. I made a mistake."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, so I'm not sure how much I can trust any of these people, but some of them are saying that they would never go back to a machine without flow control.
I
So,
don't know. I don't know. I like to be able to get the same shot twice.
yeah, yeah, the consistency
And
is important.
if I find, even haphazardly or just experimenting, if I get a good shot, I want to be able to say, "Oh, that was good. I want to do it again."
Uh-huh.
And with flow control, with manual flow control, you can't. You just cannot.
Mm.
And I know that people are going to say already that, oh, but you can check the pressure, you can check this, but you're a slave of the gauge. You do not know
Mm-hmm.
if the gauge is reading true. You don't know if you went at the same rate. You don't know if you ramped it up at the same speed. So
Mm-hmm.
either it is impossible to have two profiles that are exactly the same,
Mm-hmm.
or it's impossible to taste the difference between two profiles, and it's irrelevant to do the profiling.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's one of the two.
Yeah. 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 I don't know. So I really think we've covered a lot about Profitec on the Profitec show. I don't know
Yeah,
if we can
haven't we?
say much more about them. Oh,
Yes. So
wait.
they all have the lever on the side, which is silly, as you know.
I love the
It's
lever.
silly.
I want the silly lever.
It's silly. It
Why
looks
is it
silly,
silly?
and I'm not, because it's silly. It's just wrong. Just wrong. Why do you want to do the thing? Just press
it's a what's the word? Not a polymorphic. It's a
analogic.
yeah, probably that as well. That wasn't the word I was thinking of, but basically, it's telling you, it's giving you a satisfying interface to control something with an analog feel, even though it doesn't require an analog function.
Espresso is all about consistency and
Oh,
being
oh,
able to, yes.
so this is this. I forgot something, and I wanted to say this is really important. You got to remember this because I'll forget it, and then you can
Okay.
remind me. So what I actually realized I want is I want to have the consistency when I want it to be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
But there'll be times when I want to play around. So and this really frustrates me. This is one of the biggest frustrations I get
Mm-hmm.
is I run down in the morning, I make an excuse for my conference call as to I'm just finishing a call or something, and I lie. And
Nobody's gonna hear about that.
no one's going to know.
No.
7 people are on the call and they're all waiting for me. And I go, something urgent's come up and I just need to tie this thing up and I'll be right with you. And then I run down and make an espresso. And so on those occasions, I don't want to experiment. I don't want to play around. I don't want to have little fortuitous discoveries of nuances in the coffee that I hadn't discovered before. I want to get the damn coffee as quickly as possible, come back up and pretend, that I'm still working. And so the frustrating thing is I run down there, find that my son has changed the grind settings, but I don't notice right away. Then I'm sort of on my flat burr grinder, I'm messing around usually a little bit, which can't be helped with whether there are beans in there. Are there still beans in there that my son has left in there? Should I grind them out? Did I forget to grind them out? If I change the grind setting, how many grams should I try to extract that before, that are still at the old grind setting before I put the new beans in? And all this kind of stuff goes going through my head. And then I have to try to remember which basket I had in the thing before. Was I shooting with the 22-gram basket or the 18-gram basket? And I must get a VST 14-gram basket because 22 grams is too much of that dark roast coffee that you sent me, Max, which just about killed me at 22 grams. I actually had to be admitted to A&E, and they had to resuscitate me with one of those electric palpitation machines.
2 grams of that, you nuts.
Well, I knew it should have been 14, but I happened to have the 22-gram
You can do
basket on
16,
the.
fine. 16
Yeah,
and 18 grams is
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I know. Well, I know that now. And so what I want to do is I just want to make the coffee quickly, and I want it to be absolutely perfect, and I can just be satisfied that I quickly made a perfect coffee, and I can get back onto my Zoom call and pretend like nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
And the worst thing is when I'm there and it's all going wrong, and I do it in a rush, and I screw something up,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm having to change the settings, and then it's spitting all over the table, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
ah, then I finally get the coffee out and I taste it and it's disgusting. And now I've got this disgusting taste in my mouth. I've got to make a good espresso and the pressure's building. So I want to have times when I can run down there and just pretty much hit a button. And then there's other times in the morning, I've done my
Mm-hmm.
yoga, I'm at peace with the world, I'm in control. And my
Mm-hmm.
mantra of the day is tranquility, right?
Absolutely.
So what's your word of the day? I go, it's
My word of the
tranquility.
day is get rid of the liver, because the liver prevents from doing all of that.
The leaf is just a switchy thing. It doesn't
It's the
what?
switchy thing is part of a manual thing that you do
Uh-huh.
that prevents you from automating it. So if you have, for example, the old Nova Simonelli Oscar 2,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that has a time switch, which is the simplest of the option. It's a
Yeah.
heat exchanger with a time switch.
Yeah.
So you can decide, instead of going for the 30-second shot that is the standard, you can decide to go manual all the time. So you can program, for example, a 1 minute shot for the double,
Yeah.
and press go and extract as long as you want, and you stop it within a minute. Because I mean, any drink, any espresso based drink that takes more than a minute to extract, you probably don't want to drink it.
Uh
So
yeah.
done. You have two buttons. One is the 30-second one, and you can stop it before, so it's up to 30 seconds. And the other one is up to 1 minute. Done.
Yeah.
Pressure profiling and
But I want to have that for when I'm
aha.
aha.
So flow control. I wouldn't go for flow control. I would prefer pressure profiling, because you obtain the same result,
Yeah.
but you can fix the pressure profile
Yeah.
to a certain amount. You can say, I want 9 bar coffee normal 9 bar coffee, which is pretty feasible, and you can do that right away. One thing you can do as well with the pressure profiling, I've noticed that it's a much easier thing to automate, or at least it looks like it, for example, in the CREM One. And so you can just recall your normal or standard pressure profile and have it. While if you have flow control,
Mm-hmm.
you're always bound to have it by hand. And you have to remember that you do pre-infusion at a 1/4, and then you increase to 3/4 to full blast, which begs the question:
Mm-hmm.
if you can do that, let's say open to a quarter and then open fully the tap,
Mm-hmm.
and is there any difference in opening to a quarter and then slowly going full, or just doing quarter to full, or just open from zero to full
Well,
at
that all of these things were designed to imitate a lever.
yes,
So, right, and the whole reason why lever machines could produce better
can
results.
that's the thing, they
Yeah,
can produce good results.
better results, better even because, well, if you're using a type of coffee, if you're using a type of bean that is a lighter roast,
Hmm.
it might respond to a lower amount of pressure initially, and then
Yes,
ramping up to a higher pressure and then trailing off again. That's the typical,
yes,
a profile that you try to
and I am
create.
totally with you on that, but do it twice.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why if you can get a machine to do it, yeah, and
Because
you do
also
it
you're
once and you go,
talking
that's
about
fantastic. Save it down.
yeah, because you're actually talking about positive pressure levers,
Yeah.
while the classic lever machines, they're not positive pressure. You pull down
Ah,
and then you pull up. And when you pull up, the spring is loaded and the spring presses down at a constant force, because that's how springs work.
yeah.
So you don't really do that. You do a pre-infusion, because when you pull down, you do pre-infusion because you fill up the chamber, you
Uh-huh.
pressurize it with the lever,
Got you.
and it just goes down. So you're actually not pressure profiling in there. And
Yeah.
pressure profiling, you can only do it manually. And I am sorry, I will never believe that anyone can do a manual profile twice the same.
You
And
should
if you think
watch.
that
You should watch. Do you know Dritten?
no.
I think he's a Serbian, but he lives out in Germany. Go look up Dritten Espresso.
Mm,
Driton. Anyway, look, he's kind of a funny guy. He actually came to my friend when I was running a cafe out in
mhm,
Skopje. There was a place next door to us which opened the first specialty coffee shop called Homebrews,
mhm.
and Dritten came over. This is why I first heard about this guy. But he makes the most amazing. He makes he makes the most amazing coffee. He's got a coffee shop, and I think he's got a whole coffee business empire. He's pretty much building out in Germany.
Mm.
But he uses at his extremely busy cafe, and this is why it's worth watching on YouTube. He uses lever machines.
Is the guy that I've seen. He's got a three group head lever
Yes.
machine.
And you see him
Yes,
do 10 cappuccinos in a row, each one with
yes.
different latte art and whatever.
But
Yeah.
those are not normal lever. Sorry, those are not manual lever machines. Those are the ones you load and then you let go.
That's right. You load them, you let them
And
go.
the spring works. So it's
Ah,
they're spring loaded. They're not. He doesn't pull them physically.
you're right. He pulls them down, then he lets them go.
Yes.
And he makes it all look so easy. Then he goes off and he puts a big milk jug under a steam
Mhm.
wand and leaves it and walks away, does a
Mhm.
bunch of latte art, and then just
Yeah,
seems
yeah.
to
I've
know
seen
when
the
to
guy. I
come
know
back,
who
and the
you're
milk's
talking about.
amazing. And you're like, how does he do that?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, and that's absolutely perfect, and that's a great way of doing it. But it's not pressure profiling, because you know what? You can't pressure profile in a coffee shop.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
you're
you're
busy,
right.
you
Oh, you're
can't.
right. So the potential is I could get a lever machine. I did toy with that idea, but then
You
I didn't
can.
think I did. But the trouble was it doesn't fit the Zoom profile when I run down trying to avoid doing some work for 5 minutes to make an excuse. I can't
Yeah.
imagine myself doing warming up all the elements that need to be warmed up and all
But
that kind of
consider
stuff.
that all of the machines we're looking at, they're gonna take a while to warm up as well.
Which is why I might have them on a little fancy plug with an app
Oh,
where I can just say if I know I'm going to have a coffee in a few minutes, I can say on the Zoom call, an important call might be coming in, and I do apologize in advance if it comes in. I do have to take it, but I'll be right back with you. And then I can warm up the machine, and then in 10 minutes time, I can say,
so
guys, I
like
just have to
that.
jump off. Hmm? Yeah, that's okay, cool. That's the one. That's the one. I feel like I should reciprocate with a photograph.
Not a
A photograph
photograph.
of Jonathan. Jonathan came over to Skopje when I had a bar there. Can I just say this is this is the problem with black people, because he was he was
What?
so Jonathan JJ and his brother came over to Macedonia. What's
I even
that? Is
have
that the
the
coffee app?
picture of the coffee machine. It's a smart plug. It's a smart plug from Casa, and it works with Alexa. It works with Google Assistant, and it works with Samsung Smart Things, but not
Samsung Smart Things.
yes, but not with iPhone thingy. But
So
anyway,
it's
so
it's
that's
not
good.
coming up with the photographs. I was hoping I could infringe upon his personal
But that's
bear
okay.
with you. Yeah. So anyway, Jonathan, his brother Joel, are black, and they criticize my dress style. They came over. They were over in Skopje. We're going out for the evening,
Mhm.
and I sat down in my cafe, and they came up to me and they were looking at me and they gave me that sardonic look. Are you going out like that? You going out like that? And I was like, yeah. And then they just casually bent over and lifted up my trouser leg a little bit to see what kind of socks I was wearing. And he's like, no, please tell me you've got have you got a belt on? I was like, I like, oh God, like this. So, I know I brought that up. Why did I bring that up, Max?
I don't know.
All right. Well, there's a reason.
Sometimes I don't know.
I'm looking on eBay right now for La Spaziale. I can't find a single group. They got a double group one, a super top of the range double group with it's got all the fancy stuff on there.
Mm-hmm.
The menu and everything, and it's like 2,500 quid.
That's not too bad, actually.
The thing is, I would never, because it's a 2 group, it's long. Okay. Sorry, no, it's cheaper. It's 1,899. Right?
Yeah.
And it's a top of the range, $6,000 new, they say.
Yeah.
They also say we didn't steal it, honest. And it looks fantastic. And it's 1,800 quid, which is the same price, right, as some of these other ones that are just a single. It's too big.
The problem is,
kill me.
I did consider when I had the ganja refurbished.
Yeah.
I did consider putting it in the house. And it makes amazing coffee. It's amazing. It's an amazing machine. But is it worth it? Is it worth doing it?
Well, if you're single, yeah. If you're married, then no, because you'll soon just be single afterwards.
No, it's. I mean, it does make very nice coffee, and it's an amazing piece of furniture, even. But it's something that you have to have plumbed in first of all.
You'd have to have it plumbed in. Yeah.
There's no way around it.
No.
But it's quiet. It's quieter than a coffee machine, than a normal coffee machine.
Yeah.
Quiet because it's got a rotative pump. And the rotative pump sits under the cupboard, so you can put it anywhere you like.
Yeah.
The issue with that is you have to keep it on all the time.
Yeah.
There's
it is true that it does it, but look at it. Look at it, Max. I'm sharing the screen here.
I hate you right now.
How could you want it, don't you?
I do.
Isn't it beautiful?
That is a beautiful machine.
It's cheaper than
really, 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 really good.
I know. It's £1,899. Not even 99p. They'll let you keep the 99p.
That's an S40. It's really, really good.
I know. Look at the pretty buttons.
Mm-hmm.
Got all the little glowing buttons on the group heads. Does this have
saturated group heads? Yes.
So each group head's got its own like little mini boiler on it?
Yep.
Oh, that's so good. Do you think if I called the wife over and I just asked her, honey, what do you think about that?
It's difficult to run it economically, but it's.
Yeah. How long would it take to warm up? About 30 minutes?
Takes about an hour.
An hour?
Yeah, at least.
Oh, okay.
And also, when you turn it on, the meter really goes fast.
Yeah.
Because you have to consider that you will have
a big
about,
drain on power to get it. There's the
you have to have it actually. You can't plug it in, so these are on 30 amps.
Oh, okay. So what do you need, a 3-phase power supply or something?
No. It's they can run on 3-phase, but nowadays they're phasing them out. But you have to have it connected with a spur, with a fuse spur. Those shots are cringeworthy.
They're bad, aren't they? For this, well, this is probably why he said it's terrible looking coffee they're making with a single spout on this amazing machine. But
he's steaming a cup because
he's steaming an empty cup, but he's showing that it's got a lot of powerful steam there, I guess.
Yeah, it's,
I
think this has been taken from a bar that
it's gone bust.
In there, that's gone bust, and
these guys don't know what they're doing, and they're just selling it.
They're just selling it,
which is
which is a shame in a way, but. If this is a no-brainer to me, this is a really good machine.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Yeah. Shall I buy it, Max?
I think you should.
Okay, after this podcast, I'll run it by the wife, and we'll let you know how that goes. Okay.
Yeah. Should I
How
put a mattress
wide do
in
you
the
think that
shed?
is?
That
Did they say? I don't want to.
it's probably about 80 centimeters.
Let's see what they say. Look, 1,899 pounds or more. That's a bid. Or make an offer. You can make an offer. You might get it cheaper than that. It's only got 23 hours to run.
Yeah.
So, the guy's got 276, 100% positive reviews. Does he say the size? He doesn't say how big it is. So you reckon how wide do you reckon that is?
I think it's probably between 80 and 80 centimeters and 1 meter wide.
Okay. It's 80 centimeters, 1 meter. No, it's got to be more than a meter, hasn't it?
No.
Really? Let's look it up.
A
S40.
study desk is typically about 120.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that is. Yeah. Well, a small study desk is 120.
Yeah.
Dimensions. Let me tell you what Google says. Ooh, it's on Clumsy Goat.
60. This is 60 centimeters.
Is that all?
Yeah.
It's
So
not that much.
it would be about.
See, Clumsy Goat is selling that same machine for £5,621 and 76p.
A lot of machine. The problem is when you only use it at home, you don't make enough coffees, and the group heads are not gonna be happy. So you're just gonna sit there, heated, with no water flowing through them, and then you're gonna end up using one more than the other. So you're gonna have them imbalanced, and you're going to have more buildup of lime scaling one versus the other one. It's not an ideal setting. Obviously, it's great if you can, but is it really worth having something that takes 2 pounds a day to run or more?
Yeah, I
Probably
think it
more.
is, Max. I think you talked me into it.
It is an amazing machine, and they do look amazing.
Can't we just open a coffee shop just to have one?
Coffee shop, lockdown, probably not a great idea right now.
No, this is the best time to open one.
Why?
Because if you can survive when you're not able to trade, then when you do start trading, you'll make a fortune. I don't know. I just made that up. There's got to be a reason. So that wasn't the real logic. So don't try and think that through. Well, we should wrap this up. I'm really pleased with how much we've bottomed out the Profitec line of machines.
Yes, but they're all shiny, and they're all
okay. Look,
boxy.
Maybe we'll look at them next week. But I mean, on the Profitecs, I'm in two minds as to whether to really cover it or not. I mean,
how expensive are they?
Well, the thing is, there's not so much of a difference between the Profitecs and the ECMs.
They're the same.
They look the same.
they all look the same.
They look the same, and they're from the same factory. I don't understand. Can somebody just tell me why they have two names?
I think that ECM is a spin-off of Profitec.
No, they're not. Are they?
Or someone that worked in Profitec went and did ECM.
No. It's the same factory, and they still make them. They make the both out of the same factory. They had two brands. I think Profitec was supposed to be a consumer brand, and ECM was going to be the commercial brand, or it was something like that. But now they both make consumer end machines that look very similar to each other. They have some slight differences. Okay, look, it's basically the P600. You got a vibration pump, right? So it makes it cheaper. So you got a dual boiler, PID, all the bells and whistles, but vibration pump, and it's only 1,600, 1,700 pounds. That's kind of the thing. But I'd be like, okay, if I'm going to spend that much money, I'll just spend an extra 200 and get a rotary pump, and on the ECM, which is, is there a lot? Is there a podcast in that? I don't think there's a podcast in that.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. So instead, I'll wrap it up by saying that if I was going to buy a Profitec, by the way, I've heard very good things about people who've got them
Hmm.
in terms of their build quality. People got them seem to like them very much, but I've also heard the same things from ECM. So what I would say is the Profitec 600, the P600, is the one with the vibration pump that you save
Hmm.
money on. Is it worth having a rotary pump, in your opinion,
Me,
for a couple
yes, I
hundred
think
quid?
so.
Hmm?
If you're going to go for it, yes, you might as well.
You might as well save up the extra couple hundred quid and get the rotary pump, have something you can plug into the mains, get the flow profiling or
Yeah,
whatever.
as long as you can use it both with a tank and being plumbed in. Rotary pump is a no-brainer.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think so too. So the P500 was basically a heat exchanger
Hmm.
machine. Um, so it's a heat exchanger machine with an E61 group head. It's your standard run of the mill, 1,400 pounds. The same thing as the ECM Technica. I'm not sure if the ECM Technica is any more expensive or not. Let me have a quick look. So 1,400 pounds for the P500. Which one would be the Technica equivalent? That would be the Technica 5
I
PID,
think
wouldn't it?
so.
So you've got if you want to compare, right?
Hmm.
The Technica 5 Profi PID is 1,789 pounds from ECM.
Hmm.
It's also chrome and shiny, but it does look, I have to say, it looks shinier than the Pro 500. It does look shinier. It's got different taps and things, and it looks maybe a little bit better, maybe. And it's got the PID control on front, right, where you can see it.
Hmm.
But it's 1,789 pounds versus the Profitex, whatever that was, 1,300 pounds. And so you're talking about 400 quid. I suppose it's a fair amount of difference. I suppose you could say, therefore, that the Profitec is the I don't know, is the cheaper version of the ECM. But what are you giving up that you're getting with the ECM? I don't know, a couple of small things. It doesn't seem like, why would you have a completely different company? Doesn't quite seem to make a
Yeah,
lot of
I
sense
don't
to me.
understand it either. So
Yeah. So the whole thing, I find that whole thing a little bit nonsensical. If I was going with ECM, I would go all the way up to Synchronica because it's 2,300 quid. But I mean, basically, that if you're going to save yourself 200 or 300 pounds, 400 pounds, let's say you're saving yourself 400 pounds, are
mhm.
you going to be happy a year down the road that you saved yourself that 400 quid? Or will you be thinking to yourself, I sort of, I wish I'd actually spent a little bit extra and had everything.
But with the Synchronica, you have everything.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So if you
Ah,
saved 400 quid and gone down a model,
for that
I
price, I mean, if you're willing to spend £2,000 on a coffee machine, you might as well.
yeah, if you're going to spend 1,700 pounds on a coffee machine, spend 2 grand and get everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now if it comes down, you're basically saying is money is no object, which is
Well,
actually it's not true, because do you know what the Lamazocca costs 3.5 grand, 4 grand.
yeah,
The Eagle One is 5 grand. Compared to those, suddenly 2 grand looks cheap.
absolutely.
Yeah.
These are different stories. I mean, if you're spending over 1,500, is it really worth saving £200?
No, no. But then the La Spaziale is
Uh-huh.
actually sub 2,000 pounds,
Exactly.
1,800,
And you get
and
everything.
that is actually good. I mean, it suddenly looks like great value. Okay, it's plasticky. It is plasticky.
Outside, so what? But the inside is actually metal.
Yeah, but you could do your funky vinyl thing.
You can do that. You can get it covered. You can get it painted. You can do the same also with these ones. To be honest,
Yeah.
it's just that I don't like the shape of these because they are boxes.
You know, the ECMs.
ECM or Profitec. I mean,
Yeah, all
you're
of
looking
those.
at a
Yeah.
box.
Yeah. The La Spaziale is very, very small.
Mm-hmm.
It's very small and compact. It's got the front loading water tank that pulls out from the front. It's got a cheap, nasty looking portafilter there, but I have to change that out.
Should I what? Cheap, nasty looking portafilter? What do you mean?
Yeah, look at that. Look at the handle on the portafilter.
It looks amazing. What are
I
you
know.
talking
Let me
about?
okay. I think we'll have to let others be the judge of that. Let me hold on 1 second. Let me go and share my screen for those that are watching. For those that aren't watching, just close your eyes once again and imagine. Unless you're driving, in which case, don't imagine. Or imagine, but just don't close your eyes. It's here. It's here. What do I do? Do I double click? Oh, so that's the wrong thing. Oh no, that's the right thing. No, that's the wrong thing. Clumsy goat. Oh God. Oh God, what have I done?
Clumsy goat.
Home brewing.
Okay.
Espresso machines. Let's actually see what espresso machines they do. Oh, they do the sage.
Sage.
You can get
Next.
these sages now. Look, that's a dual boiler machine for 1,200 quid.
You call it cheap?
Which is pretty cheap. Get what you pay for. That's quite an interesting looking machine, that Italian one.
What? Fracchino? Fracchino is made in Birmingham.
It's made in Birmingham. Please tell me it's not.
No, it is. It's made in Birmingham.
The Pechino Fracchino made in Birmingham.
Yeah, it's a British manufacturer. Fracchino.
Is that right?
Yeah, I swear.
That's a dual boiler system, full size commercial group, PID variants. Portafilter is included. Wow. How about that? £939. I don't want to learn more. There's the Fracchino. Oh God, they've named it the Cherub. That's a mistake. The Cherub.
Doesn't matter.
I don't want to think about that. That one's it's a shiny chrome box.
That looks a little better, but it's still Fracchino. I'm not sold on those.
Yeah, because they're made in Birmingham. What have you got against Brummies, pal?
Nothing, absolutely nothing. I've done my PhD there. I loved it.
I didn't even know. I've never even really looked at them. Well, they don't even mention it. So we'll go and look up.
La Spaziale S1.
Yeah, the Vivaldi. So here we go. It's on Clumsy. This is another one of those things you have to go to Google to find on the same website.
So what's wrong with it?
Oh, nothing when I look at it on this picture.
It looks perfectly fine.
I swear there was another.
There are some that look.
This one here.
Funny.
Hold on. Yes. It was this picture.
Yeah.
There. You see? Can you see?
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a horrible sort of 1980s plastic gear knob or something on a car, on a cheap car.
But they're easy to change. They're easy to swap, those ones.
Well, okay, fair enough. I'm just saying it had an ugly thing, but it's interesting they've got that one. And
it's full coffee machine.
My very, very good friends at Clumsy Goat, who I want to call later to see if they'll give me one. Wonderful people at Clumsy Goat. Their one has got a much nicer looking handle.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if there's I should specify this in the model when I look at it.
It's yes, so it depends which one, because there is like 1,000 different S1. So you can go for example, for the S1 Dream, which is the top of the range.
What's the difference between the S1 Dream? Which color should I get as well? Should I get the red one or the blue one?
Red is the one that I've seen the most. I think the bluish looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't go for the black one.
You'd go for the black.
I don't know.
It's kind of funky at the back, isn't it?
Yeah, well, these are not designed to sit at home, actually. These are designed to be in shops. They're portable.
Spaziale.
S1 Dream.
What's the difference between the Dream and the other ones?
The Dream is, there you go, is the third one there. You got many more electronic controls.
Oh, okay.
And you can set it up. You have a touch screen with proper.
I don't need that.
I don't know.
Look, it's another £1,000 almost.
True.
What
I
am I
did
getting
not
from
notice that.
If you didn't know.
I don't know. I'm not gonna buy it, so I don't look at the prices, do I?
Yeah, there it is. Look, there it is up front, up close. Actually don't really like that front panel looking thing. That's a bit Ford Escort, isn't it?
Could be, yeah.
If you look at this one here, the cheaper model looks better. Not that handle though. Oh God. Back to that crummy handle. Where's the one from Clumsy Goat? Whoever thought of that name is great. Oh, look, there's one in the powder blue. Let's take a look at that one. Yeah, I don't know if it's called powder, but it's probably called something like Sky Blue or Bluebell Blue. So this one's got it's got a crappy handle, but it's got, I actually prefer that interface, those buttons.
Yeah.
This one's 1500.
It's an older version of the.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
How do you know?
It says La Spaziale Vivaldi 1. There's a Vivaldi 2. But I don't know what changed, to be honest. And one of the things is the steam knob.
Uh-huh.
So this is a turny twiddly one.
Yeah.
But other than that.
Oh yeah. You got I prefer the lever.
Absolutely.
Okay. You've obviously got to be, if you're going to be in the market for one of these things, you've got to be careful because there are so many variances.
Yes. But for £300 more, still, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Whereas compared to the La Marzocco Linea Mini in light blue for £3,984. Yeah. And even that's actually not bad compared to some of the other things we're looking at, or I was looking at. You go and take a look at the decent espresso, which is like a PC box with an Android tablet on top.
It makes
amazing coffee, I'm sure, but damn, that thing's ugly, and it's what, £4,000?
Yeah, but it's got a tablet stuck on top of it.
It's got a 75. It's probably 70. It's one of those Amazon tablets, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
one of those really cheap ones. You get the ads on it.
Yeah, you take your coffee machine and then you put you just stick an iPad on top.
That's it. Well, no, it's not an iPad. That's the point. You stick one of those Amazon tablets on top. The Amazon ones you get for Christmas. There was that time period where everybody was getting those out because grannies didn't know what to get you. They thought it'd be pretty cool to get you a tablet. So they got you the Amazon tablet because it was £35.
Next time, we're going to talk about Rocket.
Yeah, let's talk about Rocket.
Because I just noticed that there is a Rocket Appartamento Black Series, which looks amazing.
Yeah.
From Bella Barista for £1,300.
Shut up. Well, because they've got lots of different models, haven't they? The Appartamento, you say?
Appartamento Serie Nera.
Oh, wait, say that last one again. It sounded so good. Serie Nera.
Serie Nera.
Serie Nera. What does that mean?
Black Series.
Oh, right.
And it's got a little bit of color outside. So it's got the sides. They're not chrome. Finally, they're black. And one thing that I absolutely like about the Rocket coffee machines, they are machined on the side. The sides are actually machined. You have those little dots, which is not much, but still it makes it less boring.
Yeah, they've got a certain style to them. Yes. I never really liked them because the PAD always used to see you have to plug it in. But I can appreciate it a little bit more now. Plus, they also do make lovely espresso cups. Have you seen their espresso cups?
No, never did.
They're not cheap. They're £5.95 each.
Ow.
Yeah, that's what you say every time you have a sip. Someone's chatting to me.
Me.
Oh, it's you.
I sent you the link
who's
today.
on my podcast?
Why?
I was looking at it. I was Googling it. Let me just go. Let me just show you this. Look at this Rocket Appartamento espresso cup. Look how beautiful that is.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, you got no taste. What can I tell you? Rocket. Doesn't even list them
just
here.
Click on the damn link I sent you.
Oh, fine. I'll go to the link. I've got to stop sharing and then go to the link. Oh, look, it's black.
Yeah.
£1,335 and no pence. It's a heat exchanger, yada, 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 vibration pump for that amount of money. That's what you'd expect. It has got going for it copper boiler. I know that gets you very excited.
Yes.
No burn steam tip. It's interesting. It says, okay, no, the steam one is no burn. The steam tip, because it's like if obviously you're not going to be touching the steam tip, hopefully.
No.
No burn steam wand. Adjustable brew pressure. Oh no, that's just a screw.
Yes.
What else has it got going for it?
And it's got a pressure start, adjustable pressure start, and not a PID.
Yeah, so it's not. This is just a heat exchange machine with adjustable pressure stat, and it's got a PID.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the PID?
No, it doesn't have a PID.
Well, it's not got a lot going for it, is it? It's a nice looking machine, but I mean, I've got no PID, I've got no shot timer, I've got no flow control.
Yes, but it looks better than those ugly boxes. So if you could do the outside of these into those ugly boxes, then yeah, I would go for it. It looks good. For some reason, these looks good.
They've got a number of different. They've got a number of different machines. The rockets, actually,
yes, but
they've got quite a few range. We'll go through the rockets next week.
Yes.
Actually, it's not a bad idea that we went through the other ones right now, because I needed this session. I needed it to go through and reevaluate what I'm looking at. Because the more I talk about it, the funny thing is, Max, the more I talk about it, the more I like that La Spaziale. The one that I said was ugly and that you would be a fool for buying. I mean, now it's starting to really appeal to me. That, and still the Cylon machine, but the Cylon machine's too pretty. It's too shiny and chrome, and I like that, but it's gonna get dirty.
Yeah, I think I should get you a 54 millimeter tamper.
I've got one.
You have one already?
Yeah, because I got that Breville Plus thing.
So
that's 54. This is the La Spaziale is a 53.
53. Then I get your 53 one.
What would I put it with?
With the La Spaziale you're going to buy.
Oh, so I get the tamper first.
Yes.
And then I'd be like, oh, I've got the tamper.
I have the tamper.
I got no espresso machine to go with it. I know what I'll do. Exactly. I'll buy an espresso machine to match my tamper.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
it is actually the kind of logic that I tend to follow. That's how I've really conducted most of my life. That's how my life
that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. So I might actually, in all seriousness, hopefully Clumsy Game won't watch this, and I'll contact them next week, and I might actually say to them, look, I'll put the money down, I'll buy it, but can I send it back if I don't like it? Does that sound? That sounds very unreasonable, doesn't it? But maybe you never know until you ask.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, it would be a good option.
Why not? Why not? I'll still say the same thing. I'll also put my begging cap on, and I'll go back to Bella Barista and ask them about their the Cylon as well, the CREM, and just say, how about I try that for 3 weeks? Send it back if I don't like it.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it too. You never know. You never know. I'm glad we went through that, my friend. By the way, the thing that you left me that I can't talk about, it's very good. Thank you.
It's nice, isn't it?
It's very nice. It's very nice. And the only problem I've got, not with that, is just generally with coffee. I've got so much. I think I've got 3 big boxes of coffee now. Boxes. And I'm not talking about small boxes. I'm talking about big boxes that have to go on the floor in the kitchen, and they're filled with coffee.
Ow.
I kept buying it, Max. And what I found is that if you keep buying coffee at a rate faster than you can drink it, what happens is you end up storing more than you're consuming, and then it takes up space. And people keep recommending coffee to me, so I'll say, I'll try it. And so this guy from Nestle, I met him at Chocoa. Actually, I met him before. He subscribes to our newsletter. And he on the chocolate side, on the cocoa side. And he said, "Oh, Nick, I see you're into coffee. It's really great." I said, "Yeah, really into coffee. Really into coffee." He's like, "You've got to try this coffee." So I bought a kilo of it. Oh, that's the coffee I sent you as well. Did I send you that coffee? Blend something or other?
I think so.
Yeah. It's pretty dark. I thought it was a very dark roast. I thought it was very good. My son thinks it's one of his
It was a very dark
favorites.
roast until you tried the one I sent you.
Until I tried the one that you sent me. Holy moly. That thing is lethal.
But have you seen how much crema it makes?
It makes it bubbles over the top with crema. It's incredible.
It's really good. It's amazing for cappuccino.
I don't drink milky drinks, so none of that makes any
Too
difference.
bad, you're missing out.
But I think I was tasting it this morning. Actually, I made some of it this morning, and I thought to myself, after I went, because I did 22 grams of it. And it was like 3:30 in the morning or something.
Chew it or something.
Because I have to get up at that time in the morning because I'm filming some reviews of coffee machines and things. And so I have to get up at that time in the morning because I have to set all the lights up and I have to set the cameras up in the kitchen. Every time I trip over the cat water bowl, water goes all over the floor every single time, right? And then I slosh around, then I step in the water, and then I paddle all over the kitchen, and then I get into a panic that my wife's going to wake up early, come down and see the mess and get angry. So I clean it up, and eventually I get around to doing the filming. But I got to do it that time in the morning because the rest of the time people are in the kitchen. They want to unreasonably use the kitchen. So
how dare they?
Very unreasonable. So I do it. So I get up early. So that was after my yoga, that was my first coffee I had. And I
that did wake you up.
Oh my God. It was like getting punched in the face by Mike Tyson. Like literally. It's having your teeth knocked out by Mike Tyson. That's what it was like.
Yes. It's pretty much this color.
Yeah, it is. It is absolutely jet black, oily black. I mean, why?
It's wood roasted, wood fire roasted.
Oh.
So that's why you have that smokiness. That's actually because it's roasted on wood fire.
Oh. Well, anyway, I couldn't drink that cup. I threw it away, and I did it again with 14 grams, and it was much better.
Yeah. 16 grams is normally good for a double.
Okay, I'll give that a go.
For a double as for 2 coffees.
I don't understand what this one coffee thing is all about. I only have 2 coffees. Yeah. So that was fantastic. So thanks very much for that. And we'll talk. How are you getting on? Very briefly, how are you getting on with that blend I said? Have you had a chance to try it yet?
Nice. Almost finished it, actually.
You almost finished. I should have given you more. I've got more. I've got loads here. I should have given you some.
It's really good with milk.
That was the coffee that the Nestle guy recommended us. So I bought 1.5 kilos, or I think I was cheap. I got you 1/4 kilo. I think because it didn't have for 1/2 kilos. It only had 250 grams or a kilo.
Wow.
And so I just thought, okay, I'll get the kilo because otherwise I'm constantly paying on shipping and stuff, and I'm getting more and more coffees through. And then I realized afterwards, and I went to put it away, and I realized I had 3 big boxes on the floor full of coffee, and I needn't have worried about running out of coffee. So yeah, we'll talk about that maybe next week a little bit. And the rocket. Sound good?
Yes.
All right, amigos. Have a great weekend, buddy.
You too.